So no tough questions. Okay, so we'll quickly go through. Basically, this talk is about implementing UEFI BIOS for your guests instead of using the traditional BIOS. And this will give you flexibility in terms of taking advantage of some hardware-specific stuff, doing a secure boot, etc. And then we'll show you some screenshot about of the integration, the way we have done it, and then the support metrics. So currently we have VMs boot in normal fashion, use the BIOS, and there are many drawbacks. You can read up on UEFI, why UEFI is better than BIOS. I'll cover some of them. But one of the thing is it can be overridden. It can help, or the bootloader can be overwritten and hacked easily. And UEFI has mechanisms and some security mechanisms to prevent that from happening. So UEFI is Extensible Firmware Interface. BIOS was defined in like 1976 or something like that, very long ago, and then it was patched. We had a bootloader, and then we went through to two-stage loading process, and then GPT, for those who know, for handling the multiple partition problems and things like that. So UEFI is kind of a answer to a lot of these problems and many more. What's being done is the firmware itself abstracts the hardware as much as possible. So you can even write device drivers that are common to multiple processor architectures and things like that. Plus, it has the mechanism for doing key generation and protecting the bootloader boot portion, or the critical code part of it as well. So quite a few of advantages. I think that's a good link that will give you an idea about what it can do and what it cannot do. It has a bunch of services that are at the boot time, but during the whole life cycle, you can also have some apps written in UEFI firmware for error detection and communicating with OS or your BMC controllers. So it's interesting, and all this now you can do it through your guest as well. These are some of the high level stuff. I think I talked about most of them. We got partition for more than 2 terabyte. We got more than 4 primary partitions. We have logical partitions available, and that's what was the way out. Booting process also can be customized, so you are not going to go through certain hardware. You can just short circuit few processes. Power and secure boot support is one of the important one. And power and system management can also be optimized because it's all generic and can communicate to the upper layers in a very standardized way. Fault management, I have a slide on that a little bit to just explain. Robust, questionable. And as I told you, it's you can have more code like small apps if you really want to. So it can do little more than and coordinate with BMC to provide more information going back and forth. This is the fault management. So basically you have low level errors that can be propagated to your OS basically. And all this can be written once. So there are now UEFI codes standardized that OS can retrieve about memory failing and other interrupts being failing. So that's a UEFI needs some transition on both sides and the OS side as well. So there's a legacy mode provided and the secure boot mode allowed. So you got in legacy mode, it'll boot in similar to BIOS, but it can take advantages of the drivers that are in the UEFI firmware. And the secure, it's designed to protect the operating system against the code, malicious code being loaded and executed in very early stages. And it's, I think, stored in EFI files, EFI binaries. And it's still evolving, yet to be matured. So they have got it reasonably tightened. There are still people, managing through it. CloudStack integration. So what basically we have done is added option to deploy virtual machine API. So you can say use the UEFI, and if use UEFI, then do you want to do it in the legacy mode or the secure boot mode? So that's what kind of it looks like. I know. So first one is reading boot type, the traditional BIOS versus UEFI, and the second checkbox is saying whether you want a legacy one or a secure boot one. And this also becomes handy when you are importing virtual machines images. If they are Windows 16, 19, you will have to do less work. You can just start using the UEFI mode over here. And here it will show what mode the VM is using. This is how you can go and make sure that indeed your guest VM is using the secure boot mode. And we implemented it for most hypervisors. So I think all 3 hypervisors are covered. These are some of the versions for which we have done this work. So it's not only for one. The 2 hypervisors are not yet I think Zen Server 8 is released or about to be released. Sorry.
What are the requirements for that? Is it just a certain version of QED that
we have tested and made sure it works. It may work plus and minus 1 or minus 1 or 2, but that's where we have done. Any questions? So this is a straightforward UEFI support for all hypervisors.
For KVM in particular, which package did you guys test or work with?
Red Hat KVM.
I'm sorry.
Red Hat.
For KVM in particular, which package did you guys test for KVM? Like basically.
You want the QEMU version?
The image for the actual BIOS, or like
EFI.
I think I have it somewhere. I don't have it handy here, but we'll pass it on. Do you know?
Those are just the default packages that come with RHEV and the versions listed here.
Yes, I don't know exactly which one did we pick up? But you basically give a package, an extra command line, basically parameter, and give the file name. But I don't know which file name or where is it picked up from.
Do you guys have a PR out for this as yet?
It should be out. Do you have it? Do we have it? Do you know? Do we have a PR out? Not yet. It'll be soon out.
Okay.
We are almost there, but it'll be out soon.
So the question there, you said it supported, actually said it's not supported on version less than 7. But you don't mention version 7 or 7.
Yeah, so you to be very specific. Is it less than or equals to? Or is it...
Okay, my apologies. I don't know. But I'll correct this and make sure before we upload the slides, I'll correct this. Less than and equal to, I think.
I was going to ask, is there Is there a reason why you put it on deploy virtual machine instead of adding it to like
Service offering?
make it a template property or a service offering? I would think this, usually the OS has to support the UEFI, right? So you would think it would be like a template property.
So the way to think about it should be probably template property also, but when you are just deploying new virtual machines, you may choose to do it in one way or the other, depending on whether you want to take advantage of that or not. And during the PR phase, we can add something or remove something. We're also thinking about adding it at the service offering level, whether it makes sense or not. Secure boot may be a good idea to put it there, but I'm not sure. Sorry, was there a question behind?
So when you say the deploy virtual machine API call, is it a new parameter that's passed, or is it done with the details? Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea of service offering because the service offering it's kind of like the definition of the hardware that you're running it on.
Yeah, but you can have service offering applied to multiple templates. So it's sometimes a combination of these two, and that's why we are not kind of sure where to put it. So we just put it at this level to start with.
Yeah.
And depending on what we get feedback, we can change a little bit here and there. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. Why don't you come over and